Finally, I had someone at my job. Y'all know I always tell y'all things that go on with my job, but I came to work and I had a beautiful lady walk up to me. Well, not walk up to me. I was actually going to the bathroom. We always meet up in the bathroom, and she always compliments my, what I'm wearing or whatnot. And this particular day, I don't know what made her do it because we've had so many conversations. So I knew it wasn't coming from a bad place, but she said to me, she said, "Can I ask you something?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "How come you always dressed up?" She said, "Like, you look nice and everything, and I get why she asked that, because the place that I work at, we're like on phones and doing like a lot of clerical work and stuff. And so we're hybrid. So we work half of the week and the other half we're home. So people just kind of come in with jeans and a t-shirt, right? And I said, I need to be intentional in explaining to her why I dress up every day when I come to work, which is like, wait, how many days? 3 days out of the week I dress up, right? When I'm going to work. At home, I can wear whatever, but if I leave the house, I try to look presentable. And I said to her, because I've had a very hard last 2 years of my life. I had a very, very hard, and I realized in that time frame how much I had let myself go. And I was so gone that I just stopped really, I don't know if I say I just stopped caring, but I had a hopelessness about me. And I didn't want to get, years ago, I don't know if you guys remember, I told you a story about my daughter passing away this was many years ago, like 20 something years ago. So, but I went through a depression, and I saw, like, I didn't realize even in this time, I was actually going through maybe like not a depression where I'm like, oh my God, I can't get out of bed and that this and that, but it was like a very sorrowful time in my life. And I said to her, I'm telling her exactly what I'm telling you. I was like, it was very sorrowful. I was going through a lot. And I said, the only thing that I had was some clothes in my closet. And I remembered what made me feel good. Even if I had, maybe that particular day, I had a bad day. And I would put on my clothes, and I was working from home at the time. And I said, and I dress up and walk around the house at home. And she was like, she said, "Oh my God, that's great. That's beautiful. I never thought about it like that." I said, "Yeah, I didn't have the money to get me out. I couldn't run to people to get me out of the situation. But I looked at, God said, look at what you have and use it." And that's what I had. And I always love clothes. I love fashion. I love the arts and stuff. Y'all know I'm in the hair. So y'all already know I love beauty and all those things. And I went and I found some makeup that I had, because at the time I was working from home and I was doing it, and then I lost my job. And so when I lost my job, it was even more hard. So I was like, you can't buy what you need to buy and do what you need to do. And I told her, I said, I found some makeup, and I started putting makeup on. I hadn't been wearing makeup for like the last 8 years. Yeah, I started wearing makeup when I was in my 30s, and then I stopped wearing makeup, right? So that's how you lose yourself, right? And not saying that the makeup and the clothes makes you, but it helps me feel like somebody. That's why it's so hard for me when I see women go out in the street and just look like anything. I'm like, man, how could you do that? Like, it's almost like you're coming out in the street, or you're coming out in the street, but out in the world, and saying, look at me, my life is horrible. Like, I don't care about myself. I don't care about my looks. And I had been doing the same thing you guys doing. So I'm not judging you. I'm telling you, when I realized what I was doing and I see women do it, I'm like, man, I wish somebody would shake on me like, hey girl, you doing this wrong. You know what I mean? And so I told her, I said I was real low, and I found some clothes of mine, and I started putting pieces together. And then I was job hunting for about 2 months. And eventually I got back on my feet as best I could. And, but for those 2 months, I still was getting dressed like I was going to work, but I was doing that to make me feel better. So I put on my makeup. I put on my clothes and I'm like, ain't got nowhere to go. I do an interview or whatever. And them interviews are horrible. They be having you interview 2-3 times. I had one interview for 6 times to go in, only for them to say no. So the job market was horrible. So I was in a very, it is bad state of mind. And for some reason, I would go and I used to sell paparazzi jewelry. So I go and I was like, I got all this jewelry in here. Let me put something on. And I started putting things on and I started feeling better. And then I would fix my face up, do my hair because I'm a hairstylist, and start talking to myself, start giving myself affirmations. So I'm telling her this. I said, start giving myself affirmations. And I started telling myself who I was. And like, Lee, you are smart. You are beautiful. You have so many talents. You have conquered so much in your life. I started speaking life into me. I started loving myself, teaching myself. And I was telling her, so when I finally get the job, now I start speaking affirmations. It was short, not too long after I got my job. And I was telling her once I got the job, I was like, I got to represent for God. I got to represent and for women that are maybe going through that and just saying like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I'm going through. I don't feel like combing my hair. I don't feel like doing anything. I don't know how to comb my hair. Whatever the case may be, I just feel lost. I'm going through whatever situation you're going through. And I was like, I got to represent because people knew what I was going through. Some of my friends and people knew what I was going through. And they wanted to see how I was going to come out of that. So I said, so when you see me dressed up, that's probably, you see me really, really, really dressed up to the 9. Oh, that probably was a horrible day at home. And she was like amazed that I was saying that. I said, yeah. So I choose to do the opposite of what some women choose to do, which is look sad. Look, you remember how they talk about when you're fasting, you're not supposed to tell people, you're not supposed to look like you're fasting, whatever. Sometimes when we're going through stuff, we think that when we look like that, people want to help us and be like, what's going on? But in actuality, they don't. The people that want to help you is the one that's like, hey, I see you fighting. I see you trying to get yourself together. What can I do to help you go along the way? People say when they see you doing something for yourself, they'll start doing something for you. In other words, when people start seeing you loving yourself, guess what? They'll start treating you right and they'll start loving you. And so she said, thank you so much for being vulnerable and being so transparent and telling me that. Because a lot of these women were saying, oh, she dressed like that trying to, stunt at this job. This ain't no job to be, dressing like, y'all know how women are. And she said, but when they say something again, I'm going to say, no. She dressed real nice today. They say, she said, I'm going to tell them she probably had it real hard at home. So I said, thank you. I said, because you never know what people are going through, especially women, because we are built to carry the load, whatever it may be. We got to carry the load for our children. We got to carry the load for our husbands. We got to carry the load for ourselves, our family, our friends. We carry the load. And sometimes it's just one word that can change that woman's mind that she may not end it all. Or sometimes you can be that example and say, every day that girl come in here, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? She's always you know what? And I've had directors at my company say, oh my God, every time I'm like, I need to stop putting on these sweats and put on some outfits because you give it to me. So you inspire people. So always the best thing you can do is teach people how to love you. You got to first take care of yourselves. The math ain't mathing. We can't say we high value. We can't say that, oh, I value myself. I know my worth, but you don't look like it. The math not mathing, ladies. Let's get it together. We are more than what we see. We are more than what we see. And we have to change the mindset here so we can start helping other women build them up and get them where they need to go. I pray this video helps you. I will see you guys next video. Bye.